This is a screwdriver. No, not that one. This one. This is a screwdriver. Okay. It's a tool. This is a phone. A phone can also be a tool. This is a gun. Guns are tools. There's nothing dangerous about them individually. Much like the screwdriver and the phone, it's who uses it and how it's used. Don't worry, there's nothing there. I'm just fine. But with that illustration, maybe we should note that almost 50% of suicides in America are done with a gun. That's almost half. This is a sensitive topic to talk about. Everybody has differing opinions on who should have a gun, who should own a gun, and whether or not we should have guns as Americans. Apparently, Americans are 5% of the world's population and hold 50% of the world's firearms. And within those numbers, 65% of America's guns are owned by 20% of America. 65% of America's guns are owned by 20% of gun owners. 30% of Americans are gun owners. 50% of the world's guns are in America. 5% of the world's population lives in America. So of 50% of the guns, 65% of them, so 32.5%. If Americans are 5% of the world and 30% own guns, then 1.5% of the world being American gun owners, 20% of the 1.5% is 3%. Therefore, 32.5% of the world's guns are owned by 0.3% of the world. Scared? Why? Roughly 7 in 10 Americans has fired a gun, almost 3/4, so that displays some proficiency at least. And with as much controversy as there is, non-gun owners and gun owners alike seem to agree on some things, like criminals get guns. How? Well, let's note gun laws follow killings, in most cases. As always, there are a stack of links in the description, but we're going to take a look at a quick Gallup poll which shows the feelings between whether we should enforce the laws that we have or create new laws to help us aid in this problem. There's a breakdown in the results, which, I'm sorry, I'm a numbskull, I'm looking at these going, I really don't see a correlation, but what good would new laws be if we don't currently enforce the ones we have? And how do we decide what new laws to make? Because those laws are usually based on a shooting that happens. And if we keep eliminating weapons, criminals are going to find new ways to procure them. For instance, you can buy what's called an 80% receiver, which is a part of the gun that requires some slight milling work to add the trigger and another part,
What exactly is an 80% receiver? Well, judging by the name, it's obviously a receiver that only needs 20% more work to make it an actual receiver, right? Look, I went to law school because I wasn't good at math, but even I know that seems like it's fairly straightforward.
So you can buy a gun legally, you can buy a gun illegally, or you can build your own gun legally as long as you fall within the laws. So have gun laws made a definable impact in the number of crimes committed with guns? No, I don't see anything that says gun laws helped with crimes against guns, just the specific ones the laws were made about.
Oh, I got an idea. Let's make all guns illegal and the use of guns illegal.
And how will that solve anything? If criminals are already in possession of illegal weapons, how is making weapons more illegal going to stop criminals from having illegal weapons? Also, it's against our Second Amendment right. They can't take guns away from Americans altogether.
How about we get people to turn in their weapons and we pay them for it?
And what if the criminals don't turn their weapons in?
Well, that's what police are for. They're supposed to protect us and save us.
Yeah. This is Ruth Price of 3877.
What's the problem, ma'am?
Oh, there's some guy been checking the place out.
How?
Well, he went in the back. I have an apartment in the back, and he said he was looking for a guy. And he comes to my door. So I live alone.
Please shield your ears and any young children.
And I'm an old lady.
Where is he now, ma'am?
I don't have no idea.
So then what do we do if all the options seem to be bad options?
Not all of the options are bad options. Some options are not as bad as others. And, well, we need new options. But right now, I think the best thing would be to make sure that those who do own guns have proper training, and those who do not own guns look into whether or not they should or could own a gun. Because the best way to protect yourself is to protect yourself legally. And in my mind, this means some states need to look at how their laws fall when somebody is protecting themselves. You know, we're all a bit of a numbskull inside. Don't forget to leave some comments and suggestions.